you turn the sound off of that?
No.
So it's going to record the sound on that?
Yeah, and on this. So that can be the podcast, and that will come through on there. Might be super quiet though. We'll have a look.
Before we start, I'm just going to go get wine.
Well, alright.
Maybe I'm falling, not
We are linked up. This is some high-tech shit.
Excuse me, dog. Skadooch.
Scaramouche. Can you pass me over a second?
Yeah, mate.
The freeze.
I think that one's nearly gone, but I've got that one. Oh, that's going to be really distracting.
Just ignore it. Just like you did the first time with the thing.
Yeah, true.
Ready?
Yeah.
Hello everybody. I'm Dan.
And I'm Sarah.
And I've chosen to forego the traditional
Oh my god.
podcast song. Do you know what I'm going to replace it with?
I don't know what to say.
Do you know what I'm going to replace it
Oh, it's going to be a dance, isn't it?
with? Oh no. Oh god no.
Poem?
Not any poem.
Oh god.
Freestyle slam poetry.
Alright, well this could be funny. Go on.
Could be. Or it could fall down on its ass.
Probably will, but...
Stop! The podcast is here. I'm in fear. You are here with me. Love. Thought. Conversation is everywhere and nowhere at once. But nothing. What's your point? Stop! Ha!
Stop shouting!
I can't, it's slam poetry. Don't stifle my emotions. That's what makes it so creative. Now if you don't mind, I'm going to carry on.
I do mind. I don't prefer either. I hate them both.
Ah!
Stop shouting! We've got
Said
neighbours.
the fly,
Don't be a selfish pig.
as it approached the trap. This is no trap. This is life.
Oh, you've got to go another
Said the
30
fly.
seconds to make sure that we extend
Goodbye.
the intro by 30 seconds again.
It's time now for the podcast to begin, or three things. 1. Sound. 2.
Oh.
Visuals. 3. Reality.
Are you finished?
Don't stifle my
Please
creativity.
stop shouting. I'm serious. Edith's in bed and we've got neighbours.
Or my
Stop
inability.
shouting.
Or my ability to entertain through podcast measures.
Why are you talking like
We
that?
may find some treasures. It's slam poetry. Let's just have a Friday then, shall we?
Yes, let's have a Friday. I didn't know you could get more annoying.
Oh, it could get more annoying. Here's a little lesson
No,
for you.
thank you.
Here's a little lesson for you. Maybe don't bite the hand that feeds you. I think that's the right metaphor. It's not.
Sorry, when's the last time you fed me?
What I mean
I think
is,
you'll find I feed you every
bird
day.
in the hand is worth two in the bush.
Whatever that means.
Always wear your seatbelt. Never eat yellow snow.
Always wear your seatbelt. That's actually good advice.
Really good advice. Right. You want to introduce today's topic?
No, it's okay.
Now we've had a
You crack
artistic and exciting intro.
You do your job.
Nostalgia. Everyone's favourite. We're talking 90s. We may be talking 80s. We're talking all of the teas. We're talking sweet teas. We're talking cream teas.
Basically, growing up as a kid.
Fruit
When we
teas.
were kids versus growing up as a kid. Now we've got kids.
Yeah. Yeah. 90s was great.
Not talking about fruit teas.
I'm-
Alright, that might come into nutrition.
Nobody was drinking fruit teas in the 90s.
Nobody was drinking fruit teas. Everyone's drinking a fruit tea now.
Could you imagine if somebody turned up at your house and it's like, standard, and a cup of tea? Yeah, stick the kettle on. And they went, oh, I love fruit tea. Get out. Get out.
It would be.
Get out, you fucking
Can you move
queer.
that away from me, please? Yeah, it really would be like that. But not calling people queers, because stop doing it.
The 90s?
Oh, true.
You kidding me?
90s, but it was even worse than the 80s.
Games were out. That wasn't happening.
George Michael, he was happening.
He got to keep it locked down for
Fred
a long time.
Mercury, he was happening.
He didn't keep it locked down. There was no...
I am buzzing about that film, by the way.
I am. So
I cannot wait. And what a pick. Do you see him moving around on the stage?
No, I saw the picture.
I YouTubed it because I needed it after you sent me that link.
It looked amazing.
Well into it.
It looked amazing.
It did.
Yeah, the first one that a few people have said about is cartoons. 90s knew how to do cartoons, for sure. Like Biker Mice from Mars,
Ninja Turtles.
Token Craig Douglas mention, Ren and Stimpy, he put, which is one of my all-time faves.
Yeah, it was okay.
Are you hating on Ren and
I'm
Stimpy?
not hating on it. I actually watched it and I did enjoy it, but it's not really. It doesn't really stick, did it? Like when I think back of all the cartoons
It was
that I
very
used to
90s
watch.
humour, for sure.
Yeah. When I think back of all the cartoons, it's not Ren and Stimpy, really.
What's yours?
Ninja Turtles.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I used to love it.
Yeah, I was obsessed with Ninja Turtles. I was Donatello.
Please, can you get that out?
I was Donatello. In my heart, still am. The geek with a heart of gold. You could also whip your ass.
Yeah, you're not actually a Ninja Turtle.
And my staff as well that I keep by the bed. That makes me Donatello. And my love for the colour purple. And the fact that I'm a giant reptile.
Yeah.
With a shell.
You are a hero in a half shell, so I'll give you that. That's for
So
sure.
about
100%.
Splinter. The fuck was that? Did they never have questions?
He was scary in the film, by the way. He creeped me out.
Like scar your memories.
It was grim, like frightening. That whole film was really gross.
He was a giant rat. He was a giant New York City.
That new martial arts. It was like
Of
a
course he was
master in
scary.
martial arts.
Yeah, fuck that.
You know.
Imagine rocking up at like a light continuous event.
Imagine.
Like, Splinter Smith to the ring, please. A gigantic animatronic rat.
In a gi.
In a gi, yeah.
Why is he like that?
Because he's animatronic.
Yeah, but why?
Well, I bet you, in like behind the scenes, they got him flowing, and they probably dubbed out the but I bet you he gush-gunked. He was a robot, animatronics.
He wasn't a robot.
Sure he was. But he wasn't a robot like, that wasn't his deal.
He was a
like,
rat.
He was a robot the whole time.
And the turtles have been dead
for
the
10
entire
years.
time.
The ultimate movie twist. That was a 90s thing, wasn't it? A movie twist. Loved the new movie twist.
That's an all the time thing, though. That's an always thing.
I'm gravely disappointed if a movie doesn't end with somebody being dead the whole time.
Yeah, but you just say that in every single film we watch.
Yeah, but you're not reading the subtext.
We can watch, like, what did we watch the other
You're
day?
not reading between the lines like me. I'm an intellectual.
A nice, adorable family film, and you're like, oh, so they weren't dead the whole time. You say that about every film.
Yeah, but just because you can't interpret film like I can, don't hate on me.
I feel like you just get
Don't
it wrong.
hate on me for being an intellectual.
Oh,
Name me a film and I'll tell you who was dead the whole time.
Big Mama's House.
Big Mama. Next.
Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense guy. John McClane.
Bruce Willis. Was
Yeah.
he dead the whole time?
He was dead.
You've
the
just
whole
ruined the
time.
twist now. Okay, others.
John McClane.
Wasn't in it.
Nicole Kidman.
She was dead the whole time.
Told you. The other best one.
Moonwalker.
A little black kid with the Michael Jackson moves. 90s loved a little black kid with Michael Jackson moves. That was like people got a real buzz off it. Like, oh, that tiny person looks like Michael Jackson a bit. Except he's black. Was Michael Jackson black in the 90s?
Yeah, he was on his way, but he was still... Early 90s, he was still black. Like, so a little geese.
What do you reckon the deal there was? Like,
bleached his skin.
yeah, but how does that look in reality? Does he just
Like-
lay in a bath of bleach? Is that something you can do?
I don't know.
Like, what? I could picture like a 13-year-old goth in the 90s, like bleaching their hair stand style, and then going,
Hang on.
a
Yeah.
second. What happens if this applies to skin?
I wonder if...
I liked my bleached hair face. I might bring it back.
There's
Nothing-
skin
nothing
lightening
says-
brands.
Nothing says cool like a 31-year-old dad with bleached blonde hair. These are the facts.
Why do people do that?
Hmm.
Bleaching their skin.
I don't think people do that.
They do. It's like products you can buy online.
People bleach their arseholes. It's in that.
Which is really weird. Unless you're like a porn star, what's the point?
I know.
What
Like,
is the point?
Like, who's got... Right, first of all, you're not going to bleach your arsehole like if you're in a long-term relationship. The questions never come up between us. Like, I love everything you've got going on. By the way, rocking the tits today. Just in time for the vision.
You can't see it because it's covered.
Right, but it's never come up where I've said, look, I love everything you've got going on. You keep yourself in shape. I'm digging it. But you have a really dark arsehole. It's like the black hole of Calcutta down
All right.
there. And just like, if you could
What are you
just,
doing?
if you could just, me.
No, the dog. She looks like she's trying to eat something.
Of course she is. She's a lab. Middle finger some bleach around your arsehole.
I don't think it's actually.
What happens if you like don't get it even and it looks like I'm gonna keep doing this? It's sensual. If you don't get an even spread and you look like one of those people with a skin disease, you know, like where they've got blotchy skin.
Yeah, like pigment problem.
Yeah.
What happens? And you've just got patchy arsehole, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't think anything
But
happens.
you don't know. You
Neither do
don't know
you.
that. You don't know that.
I'm just saying.
What
I
happens
don't
if
know.
it's like a code, like a cheat to life? Which, coincidentally, was a 90s thing. How much, as a kid, did you try to do things in certain orders? Like, oh, maybe this will open up a portal to a new world.
Never.
Or am I just a burgeoning schizophrenic?
Yeah, maybe.
I used to do it all the time. Like, I had this big thing, right? Because you know I was a weirdo, and I watched horror films as a kid, and I love things all fantastical and scary. And thanks, darling.
It's okay. Your beard was like poking out. You've gone crazy.
But yeah, I used to like, because I didn't sleep as a kid. Thanks. I think we should do that every now and again. Just go, hey, stroke your face. You alright? Doing alright? Good. Hey, you're a good person. Don't forget that. But yeah, I used to do that all the time. Just lay there staring at the wall. And I used to do this thing as well. I had Dennis the Menace wallpaper for a bit. Hella 90s, by the way. Had
That's 80s as well.
wallpapers kind of 90s.
And 80s.
Who the
Look, you had your wallpaper
I'm
up
gonna
in the
start asking
90s that was
questions.
put up in the 80s.
If I go into somebody's house and they've got wallpaper, I've got questions.
Well, it depends, because people have like feature walls these days, don't they? Like one
Yeah,
chunk
they're
of
like
wall.
90.
No,
Oh
Nah.
shit!
I
There's-
prefer this.
There was this next door, right? There was this old dear called Betty, who was the best, and then she had like the feature wall to end all feature walls. Just your standard old lady house everywhere, knick-knacks, bric-a-brac. I need more phrases for trinkets, right? All over the show. A nice like old lady nanny with a ragged edge.
Did she
thing.
have a china figurine
She had a cracking
of like
vagina.
a child with a wheelbarrow? Because all old
Almost
people
certainly.
in the 90s had that figurine.
Almost certainly.
It was
but
like white with bits
But
of
I
blue
saw
on it.
it so much as a kid, I'm not going to be able to accurately place where those things are. In my mind, I saw like my own hands a lot as a kid. I saw footballs a lot as a kid.
Surely you see your own hands a lot now.
I never look at my hands. How have you not noticed that?
Hate your hands.
I got a hair phobia. But yeah, I saw those little person with a wheelbarrow statues probably more than I saw my own mother.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I didn't really see
Because she
mine
was a
very much.
transient drunk.
No, that's my mum.
Oh, that's your mum.
That's mum.
No, that's your my mum was a lovely woman.
Okay, let's just to bring it back into comparison. So, like cartoons when we were kids,
Yes.
it didn't take up too much of our time, but it took up Saturday mornings.
Saturday mornings for
Saturday
sure.
mornings was all about cartoons.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
it
you
wasn't
would get
on.
up. You would make sure you got up for SMTV or what was the other one?
What was the BBC one?
That was no SMTV was.
Oh,
Channel
yeah, it was
3,
ITV.
Back when we only had 4 channels.
Yeah.
Shout out to 4 channels. Shout out to getting cable for the first time.
I remember.
Shout out to Ramon.
The first day we got cable, I was probably about 4. So actually, it was probably about 1988. Yeah, I'm old. And I watched the Thriller video. I screamed, I sobbed, I hid up behind the sofa, screaming my head off, crying my eyes out.
By the time I watched the Thriller thing, like my exposure to horror films, I was essentially like a haggard, like 55-year-old prostitute. I had been there, I'd seen it all. I had so many like different shaped dicks and just been pissed on and humiliated in motels. I'd seen it all. I've been ragged from left to right. Thriller just rolled off me. Like like the equivalent, sticking with the beautiful metaphor, as if your standard 38-year-old geezer who's unhappy with his marriage comes in, boshes out a bit of missionary, pays you the 50 quid, and off you go. That was Thriller to me. Thriller to me was like missionary sex with a 38-year-old married man. But it was also awesome.
It terrified me.
Much like missionary sex with a 38-year-old married man.
Would terrify me, yeah, it would terrify me.
It'd be a surprise, would it? Oh, what's happening? Why are you having sex with me? Shush, my name's Eric. Calm down.
I'm married.
I'm very unhappy in my marriage. I'm very unsatisfied.
Lols.
Fucking hell, Eric.
You just let it happen. He's unhappy, Sarah.
He's a very unhappy man. For God's sake, be a team player.
Be nice.
Yeah, Saturday morning TV for me was all about Saved by the Bell. I wanted to be Zach so bad, sometimes I would cry at night because it hurt in my stomach. I wasn't him. By the way, do you remember, in the first few episodes of Saved by the Bell, he was able to stop time for some reason? Remember that?
Yeah, but only to talk to the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd do the sort of, what's it called, Alan Bennett sort of
No idea.
soliloquy. But they just threw that out in the end. They just went, no, it's probably not having to be able to stop time anymore. Silly.
Well, it
Been
is
a bit
silly.
silly.
Do you remember the Queen's head? No, Queen's nose.
Yeah?
I loved that so much.
course.
That just popped into my
How
brain.
many times did you stroke
Yeah,
50p?
so many times.
By the way, what the fuck was with 50p's being like the size of a doubloon?
They were huge.
Like you'd uncovered
5p's were bigger than 10p's are now.
That's because everyone was on cocaine. Nobody was thinking straight.
In the 90s.
Yeah?
90s
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
90s was like speed and stuff. It was the 80s for cocaine.
No.
Yeah.
That was melodic. No. Oh, songs are back. It reminds me, I need to do another sound poetry in a minute. But speed, ecstasy, etc.
That was 90s.
That was for the young folk. Everybody
That
who
was 90s.
Yeah, it was 90s. Because it was like rave culture. But everybody over the age of 30 was snorting coke like it was going out of fashion.
Everybody. My nan.
Your nan's the worst for it. We need to stage an intervention. She can't be her age carrying on the way she does.
Do you know
Everyone's
what?
worried.
I'm really fed up that I feel ill.
Yeah.
It's really bugging me.
Fight through it. You're a trooper.
I'm not having it.
You're a stormtrooper.
But yeah, like TV in the noughties was more of a deal because we had so much more choice. Like even as a teenager in the very early noughties, it was TV was way better. But now they don't even watch TV; they watch YouTube.
Yeah, I know.
So where's the program?
I know.
They watch other kids playing with toys. Edith's got a bedroom full of toys, and she'd rather watch 2 Australian kids playing with their Barbies.
Yeah, who wouldn't, to be honest?
It's weird.
Yeah.
Why do they like that?
I don't know. But the whole 90s cartoons in the morning thing, genius move, by the way, because everyone knew that in the 90s all parents hated their kids. Like, hated them. For some reason they were violent, they shouted at them.
Why did they hit us all the time?
I don't know.
Why was being smacked such a big part of life?
I learned one thing by being smacked, and I stand by it.
It's to lie.
No. When my dad smacked my ass for running over the road without looking, I'll take that whooping. That's a worthwhile whooping. But if I'm hyper and like having this is awesome, Sundays are amazing, and just fucking calm down, wallop. You're like, what are you teaching me? My legs, I'm literally a quarter of the size of you.
Stop having fun.
Yeah, they hated us having fun.
I remember
Chuck
once,
us
right?
out
My mum's friend Lisa brought her 2 kids round, Kiri and Marcus. And me and Marcus were playing, like they were trying to watch their lunchtime viewing of Neighbours, because do you remember it used to be on at lunchtime and then it used to be on again at 6 o'clock?
Yeah.
They didn't have enough programmes.
Well, that's before you could record things.
But Neighbours used to be on at lunchtime.
You needed your double chance.
And they were trying to watch it, and me and Marcus were playing.
Just in case you weren't on benefits and you were working, you got the old recap later on in the evening.
But not before you'd watched Home and Away, which didn't have 2 episodes a day. It just had 1.
Were you Home and Away or
Both.
Team Neighbours?
Both. Oh, I preferred Neighbours.
Mine was Home and Away all day. Well, I did like Neighbours. I like the fact that Neighbours was on in the middle of the day and it fucked with social issues.
Can't finish my story.
Well, sure you can.
It's kind of dead now because
Stop rolling your eyes at me.
I roll my eyes at you. I'll finish the story as well one day.
I roll.
Anywho, we were playing, making a noise. They told us to shut up, get out, shut up, get out.
Shut the fuck up.
And we wouldn't shut up. We carried on playing like 4 and 6-year-olds do. And then the after-school cartoons came on. You know, they used to come on at 3:30. And for the first programme that me and Marcus were trying to watch, my mum and Lisa went and got the saucepans. And they were like stomping and shouting and banging saucepans in front of the TV so we couldn't watch it.
That's grounds for a whooping.
But they
You're
were
asking for trouble.
they were doing it to us as payback for us playing while they were trying to watch Neighbours.
The grown-ups?
Yeah.
Because they were high on coke.
They were adults and they were destroying our time of watching TV because we dared to play while they were trying to watch Neighbours. Me and Marcus were on the sofa going, stop it!
How would 90s
We only get 45 minutes of cartoons a day! Yeah, you'll play!
And you'll go to bed at 6! How are 90s parents so shit at parenting? Was that like a generational thing? Like, the further you go back in history, the worse of a parent they are?
She's just licking the sofa.
Oi! Stop it. Oh, you want some of this?
She'll eyebrow you.
Yeah. You better sit the fuck down.
Daisy!
The sofa is not a tasty treat. Believe me, I know. I've been there. I've been down that road.
Tried to eat the sofa.
Yeah, it was a dark time in my life. Sofa addiction's not to be fucked with.
What else have we got? 90s fashion. It's back. What were you? Because in the 90s there were only 2 kinds, maybe 3 at a push. You had grunge skater, you had goth, or townie.
At a push, I was a townie. I always liked to think that I was a middle guy. And at the time, you always feel like, even probably the goths wouldn't like, if you said, oh, you're a goth, They wouldn't be like, yeah, I'm a goth. I love being a goth life, yeah.
Nah, they were into it. Black lipstick.
But they wouldn't
that.
identify as a goth, would
Yeah.
they? That was kind of uncool.
That was not for them. That was their thing.
Okay.
But
now I look back at my Kickers jumper and my Ralph Lauren shirt poking out over the top, and my Doc Martens.
yeah, you were a townie.
My bootcut jeans. Yeah, I was a townie.
And I was like skater grunge. That was my vibe. I remember I got like the coolest pair of flares. Flared jeans. They were so cool, and I wore them with my skater shoes and my stereotype hoodie, like walking down the road like I was pissed off at everybody, till I got down to the wreck or to the woods and just get fucked up.
Of course you did.
At 12 years
Your
old.
parents chucked you out. Right, here's the rota for parenting, right? Kids get up at 5 in the morning because they were put to bed at 6 in the evening.
Oh, right, yeah.
Right, so they get up at 5 in the morning, they watch cartoons, and then until their mum and dad get up, probably half cut from the night before.
I used to get up before TV started sometimes, and I'd see the clown and the girl on the chalkboard.
Oh shit, that's a dead art.
Just waiting
Do you remember
for
staring
TV
at
to
it,
come
like?
on. Yeah.
You'd stare at it like, okay, well I guess this is all this.
Looking at the clock, looking at the
clown.
telly, looking at the clock, looking at the telly, it'll be on in a minute.
I actually remember that specific thing, clock to telly.
Yeah,
clock to
I used to do that.
Clock to telly.
Just waiting for telly to start.
And then it would go and click in, and you'd be like, oh yes, the day begins.
And it was usually something like Ninja Turtles on first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
Or like old, like,
Ghostbusters.
or He-Man, like 80s cartoons came on early doors.
Do you know how fucking jacked up I got when I saw the swinging legs of the Ghostbusters come on in the morning?
Oh, right, yeah.
I was jacked, right? But anyway, the parents' routine. Up at 5, cartoons. Parents get up, feed you Weetabix and cardboard. Give you a glass of milk because shit, we had to.
Oh, I didn't even get milk.
Actually,
that
no,
was mixed with vodka earlier on in the night before.
Milk was like fucking gold dust in our. Like we weren't allowed milk. If you went to, first of all, you weren't allowed to go to the fridge. Like you. In my house, don't know about yours.
No, mine.
I weren't allowed to go.
At my nan's, I was. At my mum's,
If I
That's
went,
packed lunch stuff.
If I was feeling bold and I went and I opened the fridge without permission, I would get the Michael Jackson Thriller stare from my mum. Like I just performed the most cardinal sin. I knew what I was doing, and I was trying to avoid that gaze. Just like reaching up, and you can feel the slap on your hand coming up. What do you think you're doing?
Yeah.
I just want a glass of milk. Oh! Oh, he wants a glass of milk, does he? Oh, I'm sorry, Your Majesty. Would you like some gold flakes in your milk? Eat your fucking cardboard. We've got 20 minutes until we go to school. I don't have to look at your grubby little unwashed face for 8 hours.
Wear the same school shirt that you've been wearing for 4 weeks.
And then you'd go and be babysitting
and
at
your
school.
jeans, because you didn't get a proper uniform.
I actually didn't.
I didn't.
I had all like off-brand shit.
At first, I did when like beginning of the year when my nan and aunties would buy me new school uniform. I was like the posh kid. And then my mum would have to replenish it when it got holes in it, and I'd get like ski pants. Do you remember those? With the elastic under the feet. Ski pants, plimsoll.
Oh, just creaking as you go to school with this clothes made of plastic and hate. Like
I never had logos on my replenished uniform.
No, fuck no. And there was like, especially at my school, Elphinstone.
It was before George as well, so there wasn't even like good cheap shit.
Oh yeah, it wasn't like supermarkets were shouting out to poor parents and going, "Oh look, we'll give you a brand so you don't feel so bad about yourself." Parents didn't give a fuck anyway. They didn't give a fuck that you were going in off-brand shit. But I remember like a bunch of kids had like branded Elphinstone things. I just had a straight-up grey jumper.
Yeah.
Like that, and that's the grey jumper you're wearing all week. I'll wash it on Friday.
Oh
Settle
yeah.
the fuck down. Settle the fuck down.
Oh my god, do you remember what happened if you lost a piece of school uniform? God.
Same thing that happened if you breathed too loudly.
Yeah, slap on the top of the thighs.
Yep.
I
all red thighs.
I had oh come on, brain.
Herpes?
No, when I was 6.
No, you're a slut.
Dan, at St Peter and St Paul's, the girls used to have to wear bow ties and the boys wore ties.
Yeah.
And I lost my bow tie. I was in tears. I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is where it ends for me.
I've had a good run.
Like, after school, doing my coat right up, going, oh God, oh God, oh God, I'm going to have to live in this coat for the rest of my life.
Do you know what my mum used to make me do? No joke.
Still school uniform?
Yep.
What?
Yep.
What, from other kids?
Nope. Do you know where?
Lost property?
Lost property. Right? Once a week, we'd take, like, when all the parents, when the mums had finished nattering and smoking in the playground.
I know. What about that?
And we would go back in like we'd forgotten something, and she'd start talking to like a teacher in the hallway or something, and usher me off like go 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 go, and I'd be rooting through the lost property like, oh no, that's that shit stained underwear, they've gone. Oh no, that's a tube trainer, that's gone. Jackpot, jackpot, and I'd give my mum the wink.
I got jumper.
What'd you get, son? What'd you get? Oh, good haul, good hustle, nice one.
Oi.
Go on, slap me on the arse. Go on, son. You know, go to bed. It's 5:30. You've had a long day.
But I'm hungry. Should have thought of that when you took so long rummaging.
But anyway, back to this thing, right? Cartoons, like 30-minute window where your parents had to look at your face. Then they'd send you off to be babysitted by teachers who hated you probably more than your parents did. Then you'd come home
Apart from that one good teacher.
and the coke-fueled TV execs had parents back, and they gave you cartoons till 5?
Till 5,
Till
and then
5?
it was Heartbreak High, Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Yeah. Then it starts to get down and dirty. And then bed, 6:30, not a fucking peep. Can you imagine, like, do you know how kids come down all the time? Oh, go some water, and we get furious, right? We get furious because we've got that hangover from our awful parents.
No, it's because we want some space.
Oh yeah, damn right. But that's it. So I think I was exposed to my parents' faces during a weekday. I could probably count it in seconds.
25. I was going to say minutes.
Yeah, that's probably about right. They just didn't want to fucking look at us.
I always remember, because my mum worked for
Right, little 90s kids. Like, we must have been a walking, talking, reminder that they're poor as shit. They've done nothing with their life. Like,
and that it's our fault.
fag on with an ash, like the length of a fucking...
it falls on the sofa arm and they rub it in.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Don't rub it in, wipe it up.
Like, because they're on like their 9th cigarette in a half-hour show. And it's hanging over the thing, and they don't really want it. They just want the feeling of a cigarette in their fingers.
Because they're 90s.
So it's because they're 90s. They haven't taken a drag for like half an hour.
For 3 cigarettes.
So you've got like a flump-sized ash that falls on the sofa. Oh, fuck. First of all, Mum, we're not dropping the F-bomb. Second of all, this place already stinks like a fucking ashtray. Don't rub that... Oh, you're rubbing it into the sofa.
So just rub it in. It already stinks then, does it? Does it already stink? Oh my God, 2 things. First thing is, I remember once... First of all, I want to ask you, what is the main dinner you remember having in the 90s? Because nutrition was not high on our parents' agenda.
I was heavy on the fish fingers and chips.
Fish fingers, chips and beans?
Do you know how much our parents hated us?
So much.
Right? But think about, like, when we serve our kids... I just realised I was caressing my breast. Are you into that?
Not really.
No?
No.
How about...
Are you into that?
Yeah, fucking right. How about if I let a little nerd come out between the knuckles? And I do a little knuckle squeeze. How about if I lactate slightly?
If you lactate, then you're going to the doctors. Anyway, come on, get on with what you're talking
What was I
about.
talking about?
Good, then I'll finish what I was saying.
Okay.
I remember
Oh,
once...
shit, sorry, I've got it. We serve our kids chips, right?
Yeah.
Have you...
Not very often, genuinely.
Yeah, I know. But have you ever served them chips? Oh, fuck off my drink.
Sorry.
What the fuck do you think you are? You can roll your eyes at me. You can get exhausted and exacerbated by me. You try and take my drink, we're going to have a problem.
Get on with what
You're going
you're
to lose a
saying.
hand.
Fine, then
Slap
I'm
you like a
not, I'm
90s
not
man.
sorry, I'm going to keep sneaking that.
Alright, anyway. Serve your kid, have you ever served your kids chips and they've gone, oh, it's hard in the middle? You ever done that?
Maybe by accident once or twice in their
I
life.
don't remember it. I remember it happening maybe once out of 3 times when you serve chips. They were so disinterested in us, they couldn't even be bothered to.
And they were value chips, so even if they were cooked right,
They
they'd
were
still
bullshit.
taste like mud.
Yeah, for sure.
Which brings me to what I was going to say about my mum.
But you had to fucking finish those chips.
Oh yeah.
They were frozen in the middle, and you had to finish it.
If you were
and then
lucky,
you'd get
you'd
your
get a
one
Rocky
scoop
bar.
of frosty ass ice cream
With all the crystals in it.
It's got ice crystals.
Have we got chocolate sauce? Fuck off!
Who's got what's chocolate sauce?
Oh, would you like a crown?
Yes,
Your
just let
Royal
me
Highness,
bring
give
your
me that.
steak for you.
Give me that crusty ice cream. You have nothing.
Good. It tastes like water.
Let me
and
finish,
despair.
seriously. I once told my mum at dinner that she made me tasted like mud.
Mm.
She took my
remember
food,
you
threw it
saying.
in the bin and told me to fuck off. It did taste like mud. I don't think she peeled the potatoes. I think she just went, oh, that'll do. And mince and gravy. Oh my god, I used to cry.
Bolognese for me, it did my fucking nuttings. But what's for dinner? Don't say it, don't say it, don't say it. Spaghetti bolognese. And again, she'd look at me like, hey, you got something to say? Are you going to complain about my bolognese? My bolognese is the best in the street. First of all, no, it's not. Second of all, it tastes exactly like everyone's bolognese. Third of all, I'm going to go round my mate's house for dinner tomorrow. Do you know what I'm going to eat? Bolognese. Cold ass bolognese.
Or
with dry ass spaghetti.
You'd go round.
Mix it in.
You'd go round a friend's house, and they would have like 3 brothers and sisters. You'd go round.
Yeah, because everyone had 4 kids in them.
And you'd get frozen chips. 1 pizza between 6 of you, and so many beans. So, yeah, like rock hard pizza and so many beans.
Because
they
do you know
filled
why that
the
is?
plate with
Do you know
beans.
why that was?
Because they filled the
Do you
plate.
remember the bean wars in the 90s?
Bean wars?
Yeah, baked bean wars. Do you not remember? There was for some fucking weird, like, sometimes in history, just weird shit happens, and nobody talks about it ever again. I feel like the bean wars should be studied in schools. Like, at some point in history, there was this weird time where bean wars happened. Nobody knows why, nobody talks about it anymore. It's like the Holocaust. Like, people in Germany, who are you looking at?
Really?
People in Germany don't talk about the Holocaust anymore, right? And I feel like like bean wars is our Holocaust. There was this thing where somebody, it was like Heinz or something, lowered the price of their beans.
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me about this.
And all the other bean folk lowered theirs to limbo under theirs, right? And then, because everyone was on fucking cocaine, they couldn't think straight, it just went until it was 2p for a can of beans. That, my beloved wife, is why you had 3 chips, half a slice of pizza,
chips.
and 6 plates of beans. That's why that happened. Because bean wars. Everyone was into it. Everyone was stockpiling beans for some reason.
Do you know, I used to go around my friend Chrissy's house.
I didn't know that.
And her mum actually loved her, because I'd go round there and I would eat like an absolute king. I would get pieces of diced steak, like spinach, greens, vegetables, like actual peeled potatoes.
They were like the holy grail.
I pretty much lived at Chrissy's house.
Yeah, I bet you did. I went around this kid's house once, right? Jeremy, his name was. Who the fuck's called Jeremy these days, by the way?
My brother-in-law.
Oh yeah, he's American, that doesn't count. People are called Chip in America.
That is true.
Doesn't count. Do you reckon there's ever been an
Buck.
English person called Chip?
Towdy ball chip. No, I don't think so.
No, ever. But I went around this kid's house.
Kerry had a friend called Chippet.
That was her surname. Do you think that was her first name?
Well, no, I just assumed it was a nickname or something, but it was still... I don't think people actually name their kids Chip, do they?
Sure they do.
Is that their actual name? It's
Yeah.
not short for something?
No, Chip. Chippity Chip Chip.
Jesus,
Their
America.
name is Chip, Diddy Chip.
Guess they're the land of the free and they can do what they like. But go on, you
know,
went round
Flip, Diddy Flip.
You went round Jeremy's house.
Yeah, went round Jeremy's house. And, oh God, first of all, right, just to preface this story, how fucking uncomfortable was it when a kid was a loose cannon and flipped out whilst you were there, and their parents were loose cannons and they flipped out back. So they would have this almighty fucking war between each other, right in front of you, and you're sitting there going,
I'm
time
going
to go home, yeah. Well, I can fucking go home.
I wish I had a device where I could just text or write a message to my mum to come and collect me.
Oh, imagine that.
And your mum would have just gone, oh, fuck off and eat your food.
But yeah, we went around this kid's house called Jeremy, and he was a little bit on the hefty side. He was a stout fella, and really, really, really wanted a wagon wheel. I didn't understand it. I don't dig wagon wheels. Too much marshmallow.
Well
I
overrated.
don't need it. But apparently in the 90s, wagon wheels were like...
Because they were cheap.
Yeah.
Do you remember if you got a packet of penguins in your fridge?
Oh, God, yeah.
The
like
joy.
Proper penguins.
Actual penguins, not the Tesco
not
value.
Tesco values. They didn't even bother to dress it up back in the day, did they? Just white and blue stripes. Like, you're going to pay for this, and everyone's going to know you're poor.
In your lunchbox, you'll put that everybody had Tesco value.
And everyone was poor.
Apart, and then you get that rich kid that got laugh fruit, and you'd be like, fucking
I
hate
think
you.
there was like 3 people that made money in the 90s. And the rest of us were poor. But yeah, we went around his house, and he fucking wanted a wagon wheel so much. And his mum was like, no, you can't have a fucking wagon wheel. Yeah, that's bad on you. That's the way I roll. But anyway, yeah, he was like, you could see the cogs turning in his head, like, I'm going to do it. Fuck it, I'm going to do it. You know, like that loose cannon kid.
And he had you there as well to play up to.
Yeah. Trust me, at this stage, he was so into this wagon wheel idea, I don't think he even knew my name. I think he forgot I existed. He was, yeah, fuck it, I'm going to get this wagon wheel, I'm going to get this wagon wheel. And it was in a high cupboard, because obviously his mum knows he's a wagon wheel fiend. I put it on the top shelf. I thought, if this is on the bottom shelf, I'm out of wagon wheels for the next 3 weeks. So she loads up the wagon wheels top shelf. They have a big blowout. She goes outside, or not outside, but into the living room or something. And I can see him gearing himself up. And he's like, fuck it. And then he starts scrambling up the side. And his mum must have heard him scrambling up the side. So she comes in going, you better be going for those fucking wagon wheels. And he's gone up. And like, as his mum's coming in, his arm's in there like that. Grabs the wagon wheel and like a fucking action movie swoops out of the grasp of his mum's manicured hands. She spent all of her money on nails and scrimped on the wagon wheels. And he's taken that, jumped like a hero, like off this side. Boom! And he's a big boy, like I said, so the whole kitchen with the dodgy foundation shakes in its axis. All the while I'm standing there going, I don't know how to conduct myself. This is not a normal situation. He's gone zoom like a cartoon. Like, I remember him going under her legs. I'm sure he didn't go under her legs.
I wish he did.
But I remember him going under her legs, and then she sort of folds in the gap between her legs and like shakes her fist like, oh, you, Jeremy! And he's run into the living room, right? And she's run after him, not walked, run after him. And he's got this wagon wheel, opening it on the run like he's Steve McQueen, ready to jump the fence of a prison. And I was like, I'm uncomfortable, but I've got to see how this turns out.
Obviously.
So I go into the living room, and for about 3 minutes, he's running up, jumping on the sofa, jumping on the armchair, and they're running around like fucking...
Tom and Jerry?
No, what's it called?
Roadrunner?
No, yeah, guy. Sexy Party. The fuck's his name?
No idea. Sexy Party?
Like the super sexist thing in the 90s. That was just some guy just trying to get his end away with like nurses. Carry On films.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So they're running around like a Carry On film. And he's like unwrapping this thing, like flinging the wrapper behind him as he runs. Like he's done like 6 or 7 laps of the living room.
Burnt off the wagon.
And his mum, God bless her, obviously didn't get a good education because she's just following him in the same circle. She's not thinking cut him off at the source. He's a big fat stupid idiot. Like if she turns around and goes the other way, bam, they're going to run into each other.
Wagon wheel
smush
taken.
the wagon wheel in between each other. But he starts eating it. It's like scoffing it into his mouth like that kid off Matilda eating the chocolate cake. And then when he's finished the cake, he's just knackered because he's fat and unfit, and he's like, I can remember the look on his face like he had got what he wanted. He put the last bit in his mouth, he's still running, swallows the last mouthful, and just goes, boom, sits down, cross-legged, resigns himself like, now I'll take my punishment.
Now I'll get a
What
smack.
are you going to do? What are you going to do? Get it out of my stomach, picks him up, tans his hide right in front of me, and the serene look of pleasure on his face, almost like, he didn't, but I like to imagine him looking in my eye just going, it was all worth it. It was all worth it. Every smack.
What did you even do?
I fucking hunkered down, because this was like 3:45. This all happened.
Oh, you were there until at
early
least
doors.
6.
I was there till 6. I think even 6:30.
Oh, that's a late one.
It was a late.
Was it school night?
Yeah. And
Blimey.
it was so
I would have been in bed for
right?
45 minutes.
She grounded him with me there. So we just had to go to his room and sit there. Not allowed to play with toys. Not allowed to do fuck all. He doesn't give a shit. He's got the
He's had
wagon
his
wheel
whack on
inside.
them, yeah.
He's not getting dinner. He knows he's not getting dinner. He doesn't want frozen chips.
Why did we get starved as a punishment?
That was a punishment. That was a real
If
punishment.
I was naughty, it's like, right, you get no dinner. But I'm a growing child.
Starving people isn't a
You can't-
punishment. This isn't fucking
You can't
Africa.
starve me.
They're starving kids in Africa.
And then you'd get up in the middle of the night with stomach pains because you were so hungry. Creep downstairs and there's like a fucking
no.
lock and bolt.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
I did. I used to sneak
I swear
food.
to God, my parents had an inventory of
Whenever
exactly
I
what
was
in the
punished
fridge
with
at
no
all
dinner,
times.
I was...
Who took an eclair?
And my mum was usually a bit tipsy, so wasn't really aware.
Sure. Do you remember robbing alcohol off your parents?
Oh, I remember doing it to Lynn. If she ever listens to this, me and Jade once...
That was a 90s, so
Caned.
that would have been...
It
Actually,
was.
Yeah,
It was. It was like late 90s.
Late 90s, yeah.
Me and Jade absolutely caned her Bombay Sapphire, which back then was even more
fucking
expensive.
somebody's high rolling.
I know, well, it was Lynn, of
God
course.
damn.
But
My dad was drinking beer d'or for like 15 straight years. The French knockoff, because somebody did a fucking
booze cruise.
booze cruise to France. Because old Terry down the road did a booze cruise and loaded up the lining of his car with booze and fags and just went and dished it out like goodwill.
There wasn't a limit then, though.
No, there wasn't.
You could just go over and stock up and make a profit. But yeah,
How much were you really saving?
me and Jade loads.
it
Especially when you
was
sold
more
it
back then,
on.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
For sure, yeah.
Me and Jade came in from a night out, and my nan and auntie went to bed. My nan had like a little drinks cabinet where she had like Snowball for Christmas and
I love to snow.
things like that.
Did
And-
your parents let
Oh!
Sorry, go on.
Fuck!
Sorry, I'm passionate.
God! And then, you kill my
And
stories
then-
every time.
I'm sorry. Go on.
Oh, we mixed it with sunlight and then filled it up with water. Go on.
Why'd you have to finish that way?
Do you want to say something?
Why'd you have to take it to that place?
Why do you have to always cut me
No, I've
off?
lost it now. Sorry, I'm passionate. I'll stop. Go on.
No, it's done. That was the story. Drank it, felt sick, filled it up with water. Never drank Sunny Delight again.
Sunny Delight was the thing that you never drank again.
Wait, no, you know I love gin. Look, alcoholism runs in my family, okay?
Parents taught us how to smoke and drink and be
And I shit you
generally
not.
ornery.
The smoking
Do
thing.
you mind? I was talking.
Carries on from what you were saying.
Yeah.
My mum found out that I smoked, so she made me smoke 20 JPS Black in a
That
row.
was the thing.
And now I'm still addicted to cigarettes. If she'd have just let me play it out, I probably would have quit at 15. 20 JPS Black in a row. Like, well, thanks for that.
What occurred
I'm going
in
to
their
steal some more
brains?
cigarettes from you.
What occurred in their brains? Like, in the 90s, they weren't unaware that cigarettes were highly addictive. Everyone knew that cigarettes were highly addictive
Oh, yeah.
in the 90s. So what process did they go through in their brain to say, well, I should make them smoke an ungodly amount of cigarettes? That will solve the situation.
Because they thought that we'd puke. They thought that we'd be sick.
So?
So
How many
then,
times have you puked off alcohol? Stop your drinking?
so then that would put you off. Yeah, no, it's stupid logic. But I think that was their logic. I think that was why.
I'll make you smoke this entire pack of cigarettes. That, honestly, Mum, helps me a lot. You don't know how much of a weight off my shoulders it is. I've felt guilty about stealing cigarettes off you for the last year.
And now you're giving me a pat.
You're a good woman, you know. So a lot of people. Oh, Stacey down the road, she's got a lot to say about you. What Stacey said about me? No, don't worry about that. Worry about the goodwill that you're
Stacey.
sending my way right now. Everyone was called Stacey.
90th name.
Stacey and Kylie.
Kelly.
I was going to go Kylie.
Kelly. Kimberly.
Stacey, Kimberly, Kylie, Dan. I'm a 90s baby for sure.
Kerry as well. That's kind of a 90s name. I know a lot of Kerrys. More late 80s, really. I think Kerry.
Michael was a strong one, but that kind of stood the
Sarah.
test. Michael stood the test of time, didn't it? Sarah did as well.
I don't know. I don't know very many baby Michaels.
You know?
Don't know any baby Sarahs either. Rebecca was a big one. You'd have a gang of girls, and these would be their names: Kerry, Kelly, Kylie, Rebecca, Sarah,
And they were awful.
Gemma.
They were terrible people.
Oh yeah, I was in that group.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sarah.
Which one were you, Kylie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just had a different one. We had one that actually had like an exotic name, and that was Jade.
Ooh.
I know.
Somebody's from the right side of the
She
tracks.
was as well. She was.
Chardonnay. Whoa,
No.
Charlotte.
Charlotte was quite a common name.
But there was a time where Charlotte was a posh name.
Yeah, true.
Did I tell you about why that happens?
Yeah.
A little bit of a knowledge corner.
It did.
Okay, well, I'll tell it again. The proletariat, the lower class, end up emulating the upper class, and the upper class would pick their names, and you'd get the Charlottes and the Chardonnays, and then they'd name their kids those. Then the lower class would go, oh, we should do that too, and then suddenly you've got 1,000 of them. So then the upper class never call their kids that. So then you get like Apples and weird shit, and then the Brooklyns. How many fucking Brooklyns? Like, they named their kid Brooklyn because that's where he was conceived.
Yeah.
You didn't conceive your kid in Brooklyn. You conceived your kid drunk in the bathroom of a social club. He ain't called Brooklyn. He ain't called Brooklyn.
No, he's called the Waterfront.
It's called Yates's. It's called St Leonard's Social Club. This is my handsome, slightly autistic son, St Leonard's Social Club. Don't mind him if he's smoking, I'm trying to teach him a lesson.
I'm going to smack him if he stops. We're talking about the 90s like it was bad, but it was actually awesome. Like,
Yeah,
the amount of time I
it.
spent outside. I was in my house for the smallest amount of time possible, and
I'm saying all of this negative shit, and all I feel in my heart is love.
Yeah.
I had such a good time in the 90s.
90s was fun. You just
Adventures.
put up with your parents like they put up with you, but everything else was awesome.
Yeah. Aaron was on to me earlier. My best friend in the 90s. Probably pound for pound best friend I've ever had. Like, as Stephen King says, do you ever have kids? Do you ever have friends like... Do you ever have kids? And then he left it there. Just left it hanging like the literary genius that he is.
I might.
Do you ever have do you ever have friends like you did when you were 12? And it's great, and it fits with the film and the book. But I think, do you ever have friends like you did between like 8 and 12? It's just, it is nothing like it.
It's true.
We used to do the most dangerous shit.
No, you've told me.
Yeah, he just
Some of
put
the
on
stuff you
Facebook going down Parker Road face down on a skateboard. Like, I swear to God, that kid is not a kid anymore. Grown man with kids and a wife is the reason I'm alive today. Like, a lot of the time he's saying, we'd jump over shit and it'd catch me.
But he did also put you in those situations in the first place.
Mm-hmm. And then he left me with all these good memories.
True fact.
I'd follow him into a fucking ravine back in the day.
Yeah. Do you remember building a fort in the woods and it taking you like
Oh God, yeah.
weeks? And then once it was built, you went in it for about 25 minutes. And then you never went in it again, but God help anybody that dared try and get in that
I don't mean to
fort.
get soppy, but what a perfect fucking metaphor for life. Like, it's always about the journey, always. And when you learnt that early doors as a kid. When you're building a... Was it so deep it gave you a shiver?
Did, yeah. It got me like goosebumps from it.
But for real though, you would like make potions. Remember making potions?
Yes,
right?
I do.
And you would drag that shit out. Like, oh, I've got to add
Then
something
I would
else.
do voodoo.
I've got to add something else. Got to add some bit of mud, a bit of cordial from the fridge, a bit of milk if I can get away with it. And then you made the potion. You're like, oh, the potion does nothing. And you do it with the fort, and you spend literally the whole day. You've got sweat pouring down you. You've done this
You're
thing
sticky.
for like 6 straight hours, and it's the most important thing in the world. You build it, you sit in it, and you go, oh, this is a bit shit. We should probably make another fort.
But you would totally defend that fort with your life.
No, you can't
If
do it.
another kid tried to get in there...
Why? Yeah, good point. Why the fuck, right? All the while you're building a fort, no kids. No kids. No rival
Once
gangs.
it's done.
When it's built, suddenly old Steve and Michael come sniffing around. They're like, what's this built fort about? It's like, no, motherfucker, we put 6 hours into this. Don't come here pretending like you're going to enjoy it. We've been through the journey. We've had our life experience. We've bonded.
Yeah, and this is
Don't
our
try and
fort.
take our
I'd
fort.
rather knock it down than you get in it.
Mm-hmm.
Get away from my fort.
Do you remember the plans you'd make as well? Like, right, the fort's done, the sun's going down. We're going to hear our mum's shrill voice in a minute going, Daniel! Time to come in! Your cold chips are ready!
Your cold chips are
And
getting
you're
warm!
and you're like, okay, right, I'm not gonna push this, right? I tried to take some milk yesterday, I'm on very thin ice, so I'm gonna be in when she's...
And I got a penguin.
When she's caterwauling. I stole a penguin the other day. I'm fucking rolling the dice on this one. I've got to go. Here's the plan. We're going to come back tomorrow. We're going to get in our fort. We're going to make some plans, right? Maybe we build an extension. Maybe we'll build a second deck. I don't know. Tomorrow's a new day.
Doing
right?
2 stories was a thing, wasn't it?
That never happened.
No, but you always wanted to.
Oh, God, yeah. Because human fucking nature, you want to build. You want to build. You want to create things. Kids want to create things.
Yeah.
And that's what, like, Minecraft, I'm not mad at it. Because it sucks, it's on a computer.
It's boring.
At least you're creating shit.
Jason's comment was hilarious, like on Facebook, when he said about his daughter, like, being so chuffed with herself for having a dog and watching its tail
virtual
wag
dog.
when their actual dog.
Like that Simpsons episode of Virtual Gardening.
Yeah, I didn't remember. I saw your comment, but I don't remember it. What was it?
They're at a convention, they're at a science convention, and they walked past, and there was this like foreshadowing joke earlier about Bart and Lisa doing the gardening, and they go out with all their gloves on and stuff, and they're like, oh, fuck this. Probably didn't say fuck
They
this.
definitely didn't.
But
This is Simpsons.
They
Remember,
don't
it's
do
built for
gardening.
everybody.
And then they just walk past, and in the background there's like virtual gardening going on. Genius.
By the way, VR is a thing now.
Yeah.
Like, Reese has got it upstairs and he never uses it. He never even
It's
plays
because
it.
it's shit. That's all. The only reason is because it's shit. It's early. We still haven't cracked it. When we've cracked it, it'll be a game changer. Like, it will just be standard. Do you remember what, like I said about sort of going forward in time rather than back? And I said,
Well, yeah, it's supposed to be
like,
versus, isn't
back
it?
in the day,
Comparison.
back in the day, your living room, your main area, was aimed towards the fireplace. Like, your furniture, your everything was aimed towards the fireplace. That's where shit went down. Then it changed, and we got the radio, and everything was aimed towards the radio. It wasn't like a big thing, but your furniture was aimed towards the radio, and everything. And then we got the TV. Everything's aimed towards the TV. There will be a time where TV dies, and it's aimed towards something new. And
Your mum?
aimed towards my mum, yeah. Doing like a naughty strip show.
Finally, it's not
Naughty,
my
sexy
mum.
strip show. But no,
Your mum and Stu.
there will be a new thing, and it might be like a central thing. Like I'm picturing like a little tree, not like a proper tree, but like a little holder.
We've got
in the
right back around
centre.
to nature.
In the centre of the room, where like all the VR goggles are held. So you aim your furniture towards that, and then if you want your entertainment, wherever you go, you pick it up, donk on, you sit back on your sofa, and you go into virtual reality of some sort. That was probably the most boring thing I've ever seen.
I think it was. Sorry, I was trying to pull a face of interest on it. I failed you.
I respect that you tried.
Thanks.
I dropped a bit of ash there, so I just rub
Rub it in.
Yeah.
Rub it in. Toys. Toys now. They've got everything. They've got absolutely everything.
They don't really
They've got
do
things
toys.
like they do. Look at Edith's room, full of it.
Yeah,
Shopkins, like dollhouse.